Hey everyone, super excited for today's lesson. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to take a data view that you've created and to bring it into the dashboard so that you and your team can easily access your data and create reports from the data view. This is going to involve some site planner training, so we're going to jump into a different tool. In addition to publishing the data view, I'm going to show you some common filters that we can publish along with the view to make it even easier for your team to navigate the report. To do that for now, we're going to jump out of the business intelligence tool and jump into your admin portal, which I have open in another tab. And we're going to go to Site Planner. So if I open up Site Planner, this is where you can manage the content that's on your dashboard. So I'll open up Sites on the Content Explorer side. And then on the right side, we have the front-facing website and your dashboard website. So typically reports are published in your dashboard because your dashboard is permissioned to specific people. You can work on the permissions for each report individually as granularly as you need to make sure that only specific team members have access to specific data points. So I'm going to drop open our dashboard site channel. We have all of our folders and all of the dashboard pages within these folders. In this structure, we already have our reports folder. So I'll open that up. We have a report example. I'm going to create a new page so I can walk you through the steps. I'm going to right click on the folder and choose add page. So this will be the new dashboard page that will hold our report. And our report was called people. So I will say person info and save and close. So now we have a new page. This is where we're going to publish our report, but before we can do that, we have to create a report item for it. And like I said, all of the content for our sites is built in Content Explorer, so that's where we're going to build the report itself. One thing I can do is come to this other page that I have and see where this report is built in the left-hand side, and I can do that by right-clicking and choosing Show in Explorer. So that's going to automatically drop open the folder and show me where that report module was built. So I'm going to use this same folder for consistency's sake and create another module right here. To do that, we're going to right click on the folder and choose Add Item. And here's where you can choose from all the different kinds of modules that you can build in Site Planner. We're concerned primarily with the report module. So I can scroll to find the report section, or I can start typing in report. And this is the module that I'll choose, so I'll click on that. And a naming convention that I like to stick with is I leave the word report in the name, but then I'll go ahead and add on to that to describe which report I'm pulling into the dashboard. So this is the person info report. And when I hit save, the rest of the configurations are going to load for me. Okay. Now that the configurations have loaded, I have this first drop down here, report view. So when I drop this open, this is showing me all of the queries that we have in our business intelligence tool. So each one of these headers is going to line up with one of our queries here. And then the subheaders here are the data views. So I'm looking for our new person report. So I've scrolled down and have found the person basic information data view that we created. So I'm going to select that, and this is how we pull that view from the business intelligence tool into the dashboard. So we're going to reference that new view. You'll see that there's a couple of other configurations here. We'll talk about filtering a little later, but for now, I think I will go ahead and show the title. I do want to show the filters button. I think that's helpful. And I'm going to uncheck collapsible columns. We don't have to worry about any of these other configurations. I'll go ahead and hit save and close for now. And here in our folder, you can see we have our report and it's ready for publishing. So we have our page on the right. Whenever we want to publish content to a page, oftentimes we'll add a wrapper to the page. And a wrapper is just a container that will hold your module, and you can put padding in the wrapper just to make it look a little nicer on the front end. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to come up to my content wrappers, choose my basic wrapper, and all I do is click and drag that into my page and wait until I see the little green plus and drop that into the page. Here I'll choose the body position and the module holder view and hit save and close. Okay, so now we have our wrapper. I'm going to pull in our report that we created, and same thing, just click and drag and hover over the wrapper that we created and drop it right in. We don't need to add anything here right now. We'll just hit save and close. So now we've officially published our report. If I come up to the page that we created, right click and choose preview, that opens up the dashboard and shows us the view that we just published. So this view probably looks familiar. In past videos, we have shown you how we can go into the Business Intelligence tool, and from here, as we're updating our views, we can preview them straight from the tool, which opens up a new tab. And this is the preview that we've seen before. This is the same view that is being pulled into the dashboard. So we have our title, our different columns, we have a saved views button, a filters button, and an export option as well. So with all of this information and the options that come just with the view, this is ready to be used to create reports for you and your team. If I come into the export button here, we have export to CSV as a default option, but you can also update this to look at a PDF template in your installation. The filters button here, if we open this up, this gives us a very flexible way to reference the columns in your report, choose different operators and different conditions that you want to filter your report by. For example, I could come in and say first name equals Danny, hit OK. I could leave it at that and apply the filter, or I could go ahead and combine that with some other filters. So I could hit the plus button again and say I want the state to also equal Florida. And you can see that the drop down is showing me all of the possibilities according to the report. I can hit OK. And now that I have those two, I can hit apply filters. And the report automatically filters to only records that fulfill both of these conditions. Additionally, I can save this view and give this view a title of maybe this is my Danny plus Florida view. And when you save that and then you access this page again, you'll have your saved views in a list here so you can quickly jump to the different reports that you create with this data view. All of these are super helpful features to create comprehensive business intelligence reports. But to add to these, we also have some additional quick filters that we can publish on this page to make it even easier to filter down your report. So let's walk through some of those. The first quick filter that we're going to create is called a report value filter. So I'm going to do the same steps that I did when I created the report module. I'm going to right click on the folder and choose add item. I'm going to start typing in report, and then from the list, I'm going to choose the report value filter. Same as before, I'm going to say that this report value filter is going to pull in first name and hit save to load the rest of the configurations. Again, this module is wanting us to choose a specific report. So we're going to find the report that we created again, which is the My Person report right here. And now we have this drop down for the value identifier. If I try to drop this down, currently there isn't anything to choose from. So this is a new feature that I want to show you. We're going to jump back into the Business Intelligence tool, find our report, which is the My Person report. Drop open the columns, and the idea for the filter in the dashboard is to pull in the first name so that you have a quick drop down. You can just choose a specific first name that you want to filter the report by. In order to do this though, the module is looking for an identifier. So if I come back into the tool and I choose the column that I want the module to connect to, I'm going to click on that. And we've talked about the expression box, the name box, but we haven't talked about this identifier box here. This is what we're going to use to make a connection point between this column and the module itself. So back in this window here, I can actually type any identifier I want. If I drop down here, there are a couple of default ones. We'll use person ID in a little bit. That's an important one. But for this one, I think I'm just going to say first name is my identifier. And I'll hit save and close. Once you've saved, you can look back at the column, and now you can see that the identifier is next to the column name in parentheses. So that's a quick way that you can scan your columns and see which ones have identifiers. Now that we have an identifier, we're going to come back to Site Planner. And I actually need to close this out, open it again to refresh that list. So I'll choose my report, my person report, the value identifier. Now the list is updated and we can choose first name as our identifier. Display identifier is going to be the same thing. We don't need to touch many more of these configurations, but we will give our filter a name. So we'll say first name is the label. Yeah, it should be clearable. And then that should be good. So we're going to save and close this. Now we can grab the filter that we made and drag it right into the report page and hit save and close. So now we've got our report and our filter. If I come back to the dashboard page, I'm going to refresh. And just a quick tip, when I refreshed, it looks like nothing changed, but if I scroll down, you'll see the value filter here at the bottom. That's just the default way that things publish in Site Planner. Whenever you add a new item, it's going to show up at the bottom. So I can take the filter and actually just drag it to sit on top of my report instead. I can refresh the page. And here now we have that value filter at the top. So super clean. This lets me drop down and see what first names are available in this query. So I can choose any one of these. And immediately the report updates to show me Anna's record. I can click the X to refresh. And that just provides a quick and clean shortcut to filter your report for your team. So next, another filter that I want to show you is called the date range filter. This time I'm going to think ahead. I'm going to come into the business intelligence report. I'm going to choose birthday to be my date filter and double click on this and give it an identifier. I'll call it birthday and save and close. And now back in Site Planner, going to do the same steps again. Choose add item and choose report date range filter from the list. This time we're going to type in the identifier exactly like we typed it in the tool. So birth, date, start, birth date, end, birth date, show the clear icon, save and close. Let's drag that into our page. And I'm going to make that sit right above the report. And when we refresh, we can see the filter is sitting side by side, which is a nice clean view. So you can filter by name and combine that with the date filter or use them individually as you need to. So this basically just lets you choose a date range. And since in our case, the date that we have is someone's birthday, we would choose a specific date range, and then the view would update with records that have birthdays within that date range. In addition to these filters, there's one more that we can add that will help you download the view straight from your browser. So this would be called the download report module. Save. You'll choose the report view that we want to download. And here you can choose whether you want to download as a CSV or as a PDF. If you choose PDF, this dropdown will appear so you can choose a PDF template that's available in your installation. And we'll publish that just like we did the other modules. And this is how it would look on the front end. These quick filters are super helpful additions to make your reporting process easier for your team. There's another very helpful filtering option that I want to show you real quick. If we come to the Business Intelligence tool, we've listed out the first name and last name of all of our records, but right now I want to add the person ID as well. So I'm going to come back to my base data set, and from the person table, I'm going to add a column. I'm going to add the ID and rename it to person ID to make it obvious. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose an identifier. And we saw this one earlier, the person ID identifier. Click on that and hit save and close. You can move columns around in the list as much as you want. So I'm just going to bring person ID to the top. I think that's the most logical looking. And now that we have person ID in our query, we're actually able to filter by it. So let's come back to the dashboard and let's go to our report module. So that's right here, the report info. And I want to edit the configurations. And now I can choose filter by logged in person. So the report needs to contain a column with a person ID identifier. That's what we've just added. So if I check this box and hit save, our report on the front end is going to reload, and it's only going to show me data that is relevant to my record. So it's going to identify that Mallory Hale is logged in. Let's show only Mallory Hale's info. So I'm going to hit save and close and refresh. And now the only information that I have access to is my own. This is very helpful depending on the audience that you want for this specific query. If you don't want me to see anyone else's information, you can filter it down to logged in person. But one thing that's super important to note is that if you do that and you have other filters or download modules attached to this report, you want to apply the same thing. So specifically to the download report module, if I come in here and I right click, I'm going to also filter this by logged in person and hit save and close. So that way, if I were to hit this button and download the report, I would still only be downloading information relevant to my own record. And now that is a good lead-in to move on to our next section and talk about publishing a report to a menu and permissioning the report page and the menu item to specific people. So I have this page with my data view all set on it. Now I'm ready to publish it to my team. It's currently not accessible unless you have the page's URL because it's not attached in a menu. If I come back to Site Planner, let's say we want to add it to the admin dashboard. So I'll come here and I'll come to the outermost folder in my dashboard site channel and right click and choose View Assigned Content. Assigned content is content that's assigned to every folder and every page below that top folder. So if we open up the sidebar, we've got the admin dashboard menu and the member dashboard menu. So let's say for our example, we want to update the admin dashboard menu. We can right click and hit edit. We'll manage the menu items. And then I'm just going to add the report right here. So I'm going to right click on the topmost level and choose add. And I'm going to say person info. And then here we'll choose which site page we want this menu item to link to. So we'll find that page that we created, which is this person info page. I'll add a cute little icon to go on the menu. I'll use the star and hit save and close. So now we can see the person info item on the menu. If we close this, save and close, we can come back to our dashboard and refresh. And now on the left-hand side, we've got the person info tab. So that lets me jump between different pages in my dashboard and then have access to that view whenever I need to create a report. From here, we can touch on permissions. Right now, I have the permission to see this on my menu. But if I wanted to change that, I would come back here. I could add permissions on the menu level or on the page level itself. So let's say I wanted to do it on the page level. I would click on the page and scroll to this visibilities condition section and add a visibility condition. So some common conditions here are record type and member of group. So that's just saying, oh, anyone with this specific record type on their record is allowed to see this page. Or anyone that's within this specific admin group or mobilization group, they have the permission to see this page. So you can do that setting on the page level, on the folder level, or really as granularly as you want. You can also do it on the menu level itself. So if I jump into the menu again, hit edit, manage menu items, you can permission each one of these items to different groups or different record types. For this one, I would double click. Again, scroll to the bottom to the visibility conditions section. Hit add. Let's say I want to choose a record type, and then only people with the member missionary record type would be able to see this menu item on their menu. So those are some ways that you can customize your data view experience on the dashboard to make a reporting process that's super smooth and easy for your team to use, and how you can publish a report from the business intelligence tool into your dashboard. Once you've achieved this step, you have the ability to create dashboard pages that are specific for your team members, to your different departments, so they can jump in and create reports that are useful to your organization. Have fun building! Bye!